Welcome back, class, to another modern seminar. I am a professor, and today we'll be going over another modern deck, and much of like the modern games you'll play, it'll be over in a couple minutes. So let's go over the basics. Let's go broad. The basic of any card game is anyone? Skill? No. Game knowledge? Awareness of the metagame? Awareness of other people's decks? No. The true answer is pay to win, and that's where our deck of today comes in. So today we'll be talking about Jun. So a little history about Jun. Judges from the Alara plane, and it stands for Trust Fund. And the colors of Jun are black, red, and green. And generally when building a Jun deck, all you need to do is go to tcgplayer.com, waiting for the affiliate link, sort by highest to lowest price, and there you go, that's how you build your Jun deck. So Jun takes the best money cards in that 3-color combination and plates it in one deck. And just the sheer amount of money that goes into the deck creates the synergy itself. So the synergy of the deck is in the money. So Jun at the moment can colloquially be thought of in two categories, two camps. The first one is old money, where we see cards such as Goyf, Dark Confident, Lily on the Veil, and Raging Ravine as some examples, and can often be referred to as Boomer Jun. And we have a more updated Jun, often referred to as Zuma Jun, which consists of new money. We can see Modern Horizon cards here, and Goyf is still there. It's a poster child of the deck. So how does Jun work? Well, outside of money, it relies on attacking the modern metagame. And the modern metagame can loosely be defined as, again, broken and free synergies between cards to create broken and free effects. So, example of that right here. To the left, we have Indomitable Creativity and Archon of Cruelty. It gets Archon of Cruelty out for much lower costs. That's why it's a free way to cast Archon, so not really ever having to pay for that CMC, because whoever pays for anything in Modern. Another thing is, again, cheating out something. So again, a Colossal Hammer, it's a 1 CMC artifact, but the real power comes from equipping at 8. Well, with other cards, we're not equipping it for 8, we're equipping it for everyone all together free. So with Jun, we're using part of its core concept through hand disruption to break those interactions, so that these decks just end up with one side of their combo piece or interaction piece, or part of the broken free connection, and severing that connection so we can win through Jun. And when it comes down to then just one card or top decking, Jun cards are better quality. So let's go over where we get the value from. So here's the poster board itself, Goyf. So we see that where we see the value in Goyf, where does it come from? It's cheap, only 2 CMC, important, it's relevant. That text on it is relevant, because even though without that text it's a 0/1, we see that modern graveyards are full of different card types, so that 0/1 can often be a 7/8, and that leads us to fast pressure. That means by just resolving one creature and getting in a couple times, we're able to close out the game, bringing our opponent's life total to 0 in value. Well, you may not see value in this beyond those things I mentioned, but there's value in other cards. So again, the synergy comes from high value cards spending that money. So we see here, Dark Confident gets us a card. We're not even drawing it, we're reviewing it, putting it to our hand. That is very different when it comes to all the anti-draw cards out there. Lily on the Veil. Each player discards a card. Again, this goes by strategy. Even though we're losing a card, we're having our opponent lose a card, and since their strategy requires on a more card density, while our Jun strategy requires just on playing one really good card, that is fine. And there's also 2 other text boxes if you ever use them. Another one, Bloodblade Elf. You get a 3/2 haste, and you also get a Cascade. You get a free spell. Again, keyword free. That's what we like in Modern. But again, value has changed. With the Zuma Jun, there's new cards that, again, change how we evaluate value. So with Ragavan Death Shadow, we see that the value comes from it being cheap, 1 mana threats with, again, other relevant text. Again, another thing to look at that is that with the new value, we put Grindy in mid-range. Seasoned Pyromancer creates 3 bodies and cycles 2 cards with additional text. See, the additional text, right? We have relevant text that we use all the time, and then we get additional text too. That's how you know it's good value. Karaxa. You know, just look at it. It's great. Wait, who said that? Who said Oro is better? I want you to go to the principal's office and think about what you said. Nope, go now. Go. We don't talk about that. Go. Go. We are also playing the best removal suite in the colors in Modern that Jund has to offer. We have the best hand disruption, 1 mana, take anything from the hand, generally, and just the best removal. We might see that some of these cards rely on if clauses that require the target to be a certain command and mana cost, but again, in Modern, these are the spells that hit mostly everything, so we don't really have to worry about anything else if we have the best value to hit. And of course, Modern is just going to be the format that lets us play the best cards in the color, so whenever the new set comes out, just find the most expensive card and put it in the deck. And in 6, 2 mana Planeswalker. I can't see any better value than that. Fabled Mirrorbreaker for 3 mana, we get a Shaman creature token, we get a Loot 2, and we get the opposite side. Fury, well, there'll be some games where we can cast it for that full amount and clear the board, or we can even invoke it if we need to. And if you want to play Riveteer's Charms, sure, go ahead, play it if you like losing. So what is Jund struggle against? What are Jund struggles? Well, the deck again is mid-range. It struggles against inevitability, meaning that while we have the best removal, the best value creatures, again still value, it still doesn't beat the most expensive stuff. We may have the best bang for the CMC we're playing, but we still can't beat super high-end creatures such as Tron. We eventually lose to all of Tron's haymakers, and Jund also loses to value engines. If there's a card out there that generates more value than Jund, then that's it for Jund. And yes, there's different builds of Jund. We mentioned Zuma, Boomer. There's also different variations, such as using Ozo Saga as a way to leverage value. But much of like American higher education, Jund is something that'll put you in depth, and you might get something out of it, but ultimately it's mostly just going to be an expensive piece of paper. So unlike that EDH deck you built from the upcoming Lord of the Rings set, Jund is going to be efficient and effective, but still loses a Tron.